Here on Kiwi.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Well, we're into the 2nd of May now, New Zealand Music Month, and all kinds of people are celebrating New Zealand Music Month in their own way, and all sorts of bars, I suppose, are as well. One of the bars is the Whiskey in Auckland and Ponsonby Road. They are presenting something called the Whiskey Live 2011, with 40 acts over 20 nights, boasting intimate performances from some of our best-loved musicians, current chart toppers and also emerging talent as well, from pop to rock to dance to dub to chamber pop to jazz to creamy country rock, and everything in between as well. One of the artists playing will be L.A. Mitchell, and Miss L.A. Mitchell joins me on the line this morning. Hello to you.
Hello. That was a prelude, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, you did well to get to all of those genres, subjects in order.
Especially with my head cold and all. I've already been saying this morning, I went out to comedy on Friday night, woke up with a head cold. Is there a link? You draw the dots.
Wow, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. You had a bit of a busy weekend as well, from the sounds of it.
Yeah. We discussed in there. We went to see Eli Paperboy Reid at Galapagos on Friday night.
Yeah.
Not many people, I think, have heard of that guy, but he's really great. And he's a soul singer, but in a traditional sense. This dude must have spent half his childhood watching James Brown and Elvis Presley YouTube clips.
There's a bit of a...
Got it all down.
Well,
the original music out of Detroit.
Very nice. Well, there's a bit of a resurgence of that kind of stuff right now as
Seems
well.
to be. Male Hawthorne is another male, and this guy's a white guy, which seems to be apparently important to mention when they're doing authentic soul music.
Yeah. Very nice.
If it's the difference.
Yeah.
So he was great. We really liked him. And then I went to see Bob Dylan on Saturday night, which sort of felt actually musically not too far from the same thing, just by two totally different people. Bob Dylan's band's really tight, but they sort of sound like this Nashville, really, really slick sort of Nashville jazz kind of sound, and they do this bluegrass sort of shuffle beats behind a lot of the tunes. It's just not what you expect Bob Dylan tunes to be, but...
I heard mixed reviews.
Yeah, mixed reviews, and but that's normal. He's a polarizer. I liked it myself, but I didn't have any expectation. So
apparently the harmonica was really piercing or something.
Harmonica was slicing your freaking ears off. People were bleeding left, right and centre. It was unreal. Yeah, really, really loud. And we had two people sitting next to us that thought that was too obnoxious.
Right.
And they left after a song.
Walking out of Bob
Dylan.
Man, after...
At $90 a ticket. Yes, that'd rip me knickers, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it just? No harmonica in your set, though? You play harmonica?
On the whiskey bar? No, there will be no harmonica. Well, Barnaby might. I don't know, Barnaby turns to the harmonica every once in a while. Because
you're playing with Barnaby Weir on Thursday the 26th of May.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you guys not unfamiliar with each other, having been part of the whole Fly My Pretties project.
It's quite cool that this came up, actually, because it's neat to work in Fly My Pretties, but he's had a solo album, of course, just come out recently, and it's so great to be able to work as independent artists, because, of course, in Fly My Pretties, you're still sort of representing yourself as an independent artist, but you are you're a part of the picnic, So it's cool to be able to do a gig with Barnaby outside of that as just an individual artist.
Let's also go back through your catalogue, because you put out the Live at Mad Horn CD. There was also the CD off the top of my head. Was it called Circles?
And debut came out before the Matterhorn, which was those are my first two pieces of work in 2007, 2008.
And in the background here, we're listening to your track "Must Be for Love." Sorry to talk all over it. We'll play it in its entirety very shortly. Now, that's come out all since then, but not off an album, right? No,
I just have been in a bit of a bent at making as much music as possible. And I got kind of tired of having to think that I needed to write a bunch of music for an album project, and there would be this flurry of writing and this flurry of making and this flurry of releasing. So I sort of just, for the meantime, thought I'll hold off on rushing into another album or rushing into another release, and I'll just start doing some work with different people and exploring some different ideas. And so the first thing that came out was to do a bunch of EPs and just release them digitally as they came out as I was working on them. And then I've probably got the intention to put them all together as an album at some point. But right now I have released an EP with Isaac Asili from Open Souls, and
Ah.
he exists as an artist in his own right. And he's a trumpet player from Open Souls, which I think most people will know from there.
And what is he doing the music and you doing the vocals and adding in stuff, or is it fully orchestrated by him, or how's this working?
Yeah, I came with the songs and sort of quite a few ideas, and then I got him to help me produce them. And
Okay.
he has a little home studio and was a deft hand at making beats. So yeah, I just sort of brought the songs in and said, here's the songs and here are some chords, and this is sort of how it goes, and so what shall we do with them? And then the EP number 1 came together. So that was the Isaac Iseli one, which is available digitally for anyone who wants. Must Be for Lovers on that one.
Ah, cool.
And then at the moment I am in the process, I go into the studio today, actually the next 3 days, to do vocals for the next EP, which is with George Duncan from Wellington. He's a relatively unknown producer, but he's doing really, really interesting stuff. And so I've been working the last 6 months putting together about 5 or 6 songs with George Duncan. And I've started work with another dude and a couple of dudes in London. I've got some tunes from Dave Watts from Ex Fundamental, which I've been working through, and Adrian Sherwood, dub producer in UK, and Kevin Marktrail, who works with The Streets. So there's been a bunch of and they're little tidbits, like a song here and a song there, and so cumulatively they might work up to something. But right now I'm quite enjoying just concentrating on writing lots of songs, because you have to write lots of really bad ones in order to write a few good ones.
Yeah.
And I spent lots of time working to be a good musician and training to be a good singer, and but I feel like songwriting is a craft and an art within itself, and I wanted to spend lots of time learning how to write songs and learning how to write good songs. So my focus is, for the last few years, has not been on releasing material, but just on writing songs.
Well, all of that, it sounds like it's keeping you full on busy at the moment, man.
Yeah, it's strange because it sort of feels like downtime, I think, outside of the box, but yeah, it is something you have to keep your finger on. You've got to get up every morning and do a little bit, and it's not the most rewarding work because you don't earn any money from it.
Yeah.
And even when you're doing it, there might not even be, the ultimate goal that you'll earn money from it. So it's difficult to justify as a job, but you need to treat it as a job until that time, because it needs that amount of discipline, I think, needs that amount of work.
But does that mean also that you are out performing quite a bit just to keep the old bank account ticking over? Yeah,
I do. Of course, I work with Dave Dobbin. We just flew back in late last night from a gig in Christchurch, and a private gig in Christchurch, and then I have a bunch of festivals and bits and pieces that go on. Fly My Pretties, of course, has kept me performing over the last year, which has been great. And then I do some work with Anna Conning. I see you're talking to her and Julia Deans.
Yeah, later on.
Earlier this morning.
Yep.
You've got on the old tweets there, Wams.
Yeah, good.
You might actually be able to answer me a couple of questions with the old tweets.
Should we have a Twitter coaching session?
Yes, please, because I'm new to Twitter, first on Twitter, and I'm not quite sure what the hash, when you attach a hash to a word.
Oh, well, hashtagging, I guess, is for people who want to collect tweets in one particular place. Let's say we're talking about New Zealand Music Month. So if you were writing something about New Zealand Music Month, you might put at the end of it, you might put hash NZ Music or something like that. And so therefore, and then that hashtag might catch on. So anyone else is talking about New Zealand Music Month might also put that on their tweets as well. And then if you click on that hashtag, because within Twitter, anything that's hashed is clickable. So you click on that, and then you'll see the full list. You'll see the full conversation of the whole Twitter community. Anyone who's talking about NZ Music will, they'll all come up on that one page.
Right, so anyone could start it. Is that a trend then? Is that how that
I suppose it is, yeah. I mean, or a meme or something.
Yeah, right, memes.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, if
teams, aren't they teams? The technological ones are teams?
Are they? I don't know. You got that over me. But say, for example...
The third generation of memes.
for an example, if everyone was following the royal wedding on Friday on Twitter, it was something like royal wedding or... something like that.
And you hear everything about it.
Yeah. So
subject matter.
Not just the people that you're following, but the whole community that might be talking about that.
Wow,
So you can start off your own hash this morning. What are you
I
gonna?
could.
What are you gonna hash?
How polarizing Bob Dylan is.
Yeah, Bob Dylan. Hash Bob Dylan.
Hash Bob Dylan. Yeah.
No doubt.
People
No doubt, if you did a search on Twitter for hash Bob Dylan, now you'd probably
I'll find a lot of
stuff.
disappointed people, perhaps.
Maybe. But I'm
Maybe
sure that
people.
the people won't be disappointed on Thursday, the 26th of May, with
I
you.
love the segues, Wams. You do it so well. so well. You're a master of the class with the segue.
I have to wrap this up somehow.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, and I could talk forever, seriously. Yes, Whiskey Bar, and we're very excited. And tickets are selling quite fast for that, actually. So I think we're just over halfway, quite near. So if people are really keen, they want to get in there and do it, because most of those shows sell, because it's very small, very tiny venue. They call them intimate, but it just means minuscule.
Yeah, up in your face.
It's very cosy. Yeah, so come expecting a cosy performance from myself and the lovely Barnaby. I'm going to share the stage there for a couple of tunes, which would be great. And yeah.
Cool. All right, we'll go and check that out at the Whiskey in Ponsonby Road throughout the month of May, but for specifically for LA Mitchell and Barnaby Ware on Thursday the 26th. And I'll play your track here, Must Be for Love. Thanks, LA Mitchell. Always a pleasure. Cheers.